Right. It's late in, it's almost, that clock's fast, isn't it? Almost 9:15 on the 7th of August. I'm now going to read, when I can find the page, a letter I wrote to Doutzen Kroes in December 2011. I wrote something to do, I suppose, and you could argue it was a mad thing to do, but I wrote to about 60 schlebs, I say schlebs again, 60 schlebs, sending them initially just DVDs of music I'd recorded on my computer, and then eventually added some video I'd done as well. And the first 60 or so I didn't bother taking copies of. Eventually I decided it was worth taking copies of the letters I wrote, and finally, I don't bother sending them to all, I just write them in this book. And I was looking through the list of letters I'd done, and I wanted to recreate one, or try and remember what I'd written. And the one that came to mind I should try and do was the one to Doutzen Kroes, model for Victoria's Secret. And she did adverts for L'Oreal, which is the basis of my letter. So this was written about 3 or 4 years ago, before she was married and had children and all that sort of stuff. And the letter goes a bit like this. It's actually coffee in my tea. Dear Doutzen, I watched one of your L'Oreal adverts recently on YouTube to remind myself how lovely you are, and I thought to myself, what a good job the voiceover lady does speaking English for you. I did some more research, and I noticed that actually my middle name is research. And I noticed that she even does foreign languages for you, including Dutch. She does. I've seen her on the internet speaking in Dutch, Doutzen, on chat shows, and then they even chose someone to do her Dutch, because she's Dutch. They got someone to do the Dutch for her, for the L'Oreal adverts, which I thought was particularly funny. The reason I'm writing is that I was hoping you'd be able to point me in the direction of the people who do your voice work for you, because as you will hear from the singing on the DVD, it is terrible, I have enclosed with this letter, the bloke who does my voice work is absolutely rubbish. Not only that, he even struggles to speak my native language, which is English. It's a good job I don't live in Chester, for example. I could really do with finding someone who could do a better voice for me, so that would be really helpful. I really think you are a lovely model and ambassador for L'Oreal and Victoria's Secret. And if you asked me to wrestle an alligator, or a crocodile if that's harder, do a bungee jump with the wrong length bungee, catch the train to Camberley, I've discovered since I've written this, either there wasn't a bus service to Camberley or there isn't one now, so it's train now. It's not that far away, but it takes an hour and 20 minutes because there's 2 stops, so it's a bit of a struggle to go to Camberley to see someone. Wing walk on an airplane, go over the Niagara Falls in a bathtub with the plug-in, appear on, or out, depending, I don't mind, appear on Deal or No Deal. I've tried to get on Deal or No Deal, but they didn't think I had any particular talent. I had to go into a room. They said, what was something in this room? They say, tell us something special you can do. And so that was it, that was what I did. And I didn't get selected. Well, he gives open boxes. Have Box 2, please. Dye my hair what remains of it blonde with a semi-permanent hair product. I presume L'Oreal do those. And do you know what? What's the point again? Oh, meter again, so yeah. I do all those things to meter. Do you know what? I'd have a long, hard think about it and probably decide to contact Penelope Kroes instead. Love, Richard St. Kunz Sauce Buddy. P.S. Well, go on then. I would be prepared to meet you in Camberley if you invited me, and I would be more than happy to go by train, because after all... So bad now. Because after all, you're worth it. Hour and 20. It's only about 20 minutes to Farnborough. It's only just up the... what's the name of it? Because of the train lines. And believe it or not, I got a reply to this letter, and I've thrown that away as well. So I can't show you that either. And it said, sorry, we don't... I wrote to L'Oreal because I didn't know her agent's address or whatever. And it came back and said, sorry, we don't know who was used for the voiceover work, so we can't help you. And that was that. So that's that letter. Recreated again. Jam donuts.